What's up guys, Sean Nalawani, SeanNal.com, and today's video is going to be for my younger viewers out there, and in it I'm going to be giving you 10 teen bodybuilding tips related to training, nutrition, and supplementation, as well as a few other things to help get you on the proper path toward your fitness goals. I started training seriously myself when I was in my teens, and I made a lot of mistakes back then when I was first getting started, and I see a lot of other teens making those same mistakes. And so this video is going to help to put you ahead of the curve and save you from wasting unnecessary time and effort so you can get the best results possible as efficiently as possible. Consistent, proper training and proper nutrition are really good habits to develop at a young age because they'll teach you the value of setting goals and working hard toward them. And the discipline and self-confidence that you develop from that is also going to spill into other areas of your life as well moving forward. So good for you for starting this journey, and here are 10 tips to help you out. These aren't the only tips there are, but these are some of the most important ones that come to mind. So teen bodybuilding tip number 1 is to focus on building for the longer term. In other words, you have to be patient and you have to recognize right out of the gate that building a truly strong and muscular body, it takes time. Okay, it's not gonna happen in a matter of weeks, and even though you can definitely make some noticeable gains over the span of a few months if you do things properly, building a real standout physique, the type that you're probably after, you're usually looking at least a couple years to get there, assuming you have around average genetics. So don't fall for all the hype that you see online or in magazines. This is a longer term game, and you want to focus on making slow, gradual progress rather than trying to rush things. And a good rate for that would be somewhere between 1 to 2 pounds gained per month during your first year. Now that might not sound like a lot, but it does add up fairly quickly when you look at it over the course of a few months or longer. And if you're gaining any more than that, then you're likely just putting on an excessive amount of body fat, since your body can only build a limited amount of muscle over any given time frame. Tip number 2 is to have a plan. So don't just go into the gym and wing it every time by constantly mixing up your exercises and your rep range and doing something different every week. Okay, do your research and find a good, solid, well-rounded training program and stick to that program and focus on making continual strength gains on that plan for as long as you can. And make sure that you write your workouts down and that you strive for small improvements each week. And also stay away from the very common mistake of program hopping, where you follow one workout for a few weeks and then you switch to another one and then another, because doing that is only going to slow down your progress in the longer term. There are a lot of different ways to build muscle and gain strength effectively, but for a beginning teen bodybuilder, a good reliable guideline would just be to follow a basic full body routine 3 times per week. Okay, you don't need to be in the gym 5 or 6 days per week on a body part split, hitting a different muscle group each time. You'll still make gains that way, but a full body routine is going to be most likely the fastest way for you to build up an initial foundation of size and strength. And you can graduate to an upper-lower split after that. Teen bodybuilding tip number 3 is to train your entire body equally. This is a very common mistake that teens or just any beginning lifter in general tends to make, and that's putting more emphasis on the showy muscles like the chest and the arms and less emphasis on other areas like the back or the legs. So they'll go into the gym and perform a bunch of sets of bench presses and chest flies and bicep curls, and then only treat their other muscle groups as an afterthought. It's really important to understand that every muscle group on your body plays an important role in bringing your entire physique together, and that actually the muscles that you probably think are the most important ones in helping you build that strong and powerful looking body, they don't actually contribute as much as you think. Having a thick and well-developed back and shoulders, for example, that will generally have a much bigger impact on your overall appearance than your pecs and your biceps will. And also, if you have a well-developed upper body but you neglect your lower body, you're going to look totally out of balance, and it's just not going to be a good look in general. So developing every muscle group equally is very important, not just visually, but also for preventing injuries. And they should all be trained in a balanced way with big basic compound exercises as the primary focus. Tip number 4 is to leave your ego at the door and always train with proper form and technique. A lot of lifters who are just starting out will have the mentality of wanting to prove themselves in the gym, and so they'll end up using weights that are way too heavy, using sloppy form, a lot of momentum, and not even using a full range of motion. Guys, you have to understand that people in the gym can see when you're trying to go too heavy, and there's really nothing impressive about it at all. And no one else in the gym really cares how much you can lift anyway. It's way more impressive to see a lifter using a lighter weight and using proper form and a full range of motion, because it shows that he's smart, he knows what he's doing, he's not worried about what other people in the gym think, and he's just patient in doing his own thing. And those guys that load up the bench press and then perform half reps with the help of a spotter, honestly, it just looks completely ridiculous. So take the time to learn the proper form for each exercise. You can research it online, or you can get a more experienced lifter to help you out. Start with weights that you can lift in a controlled manner using a full range of motion, and then slowly progress from there over time. Not only is that gonna help you maximize the stimulation and the growth of the muscle that you're trying to hit, but it's also going to reduce your chances for injury as well, which is actually very important, because if you do get injured, then your entire program is gonna be stopped dead in its tracks. Teen bodybuilding tip number 5 is to recognize the importance of proper nutrition. So you can spend all the time you want in the gym, but if you haven't developed solid nutritional habits to go along with it, then your results are either going to be hugely minimized, or you're not going to get any results at all. So you don't need to obsess over all the tiny details or follow some super detailed eating plan, but just focus on basing your diet around quality, minimally processed whole foods, get in a few servings of fruit and veggies each day, drink plenty of water, and then make sure that you are approximately meeting your daily calorie needs to support muscle growth. I'll put some calculations in the description box to help you out with that, and that you're eating enough protein as well. And you can use 0.8 grams per pound of body weight daily as a rough minimum protein guideline to shoot for. I don't recommend tracking exact macros, since that's just going to be overkill. And if you're in school and your parents are still cooking dinner for you, things like that, it's going to be hard to track your macros exactly, and it's just not going to be necessary anyway. But if you're truly serious about this and you do want to maximize your results, then estimating your total calories and your total protein for the day, that's going to be a good approach that will make sure you're getting consistent results without being too obsessive about it. But in any case, just recognize that nutrition is equally as important as what you do in the gym, and that both of them go hand in hand. Tip number 6, don't overemphasize supplements. Supplements only play a small role in an overall muscle building program. They don't produce results anywhere near what most supplement ads will try to tell you. And as a teen, your funds are probably going to be fairly limited as well. And so the last thing you need to be doing is running out and spending a bunch of cash on fancy pre-workouts or overpriced protein formulas or anything like that. As a teen bodybuilder, at the most, I would say just get a basic protein powder if you find that it helps you meet your daily protein needs more effectively, but even that's not mandatory. And if you can hit your protein needs through regular whole food and you'd prefer to do that, then a protein powder isn't necessary at all. Protein powders are really just there for optional convenience. And then if you're really serious about your results, and especially if you're in your later teens and you have some extra cash to spend, then a basic creatine monohydrate would also be a viable option for a small extra strength boost. In theory, there's no technical reason why a teen couldn't supplement in the same way as an adult, but especially for the younger guys, I'd say to just keep it simple, focus on the basics, build your foundation first, especially if you don't have a lot of money to spend. And then later on, if you want to get more detailed supplement-wise, then you can. Teen bodybuilding tip number 7 is to not worry about the small details. So this ties in with some of the other points that I was making, but as a beginning teen lifter, you really just want to keep things simple for yourself and focus on getting the main core principles down first. You don't need to obsess over every gram of protein, carbs, and fats that you eat. You don't need a fancy workout program or any special training techniques. And you don't need to worry about supplements aside from maybe a few very basic things. The bulk of your results are going to come from consistently implementing a few key principles like getting stronger over time on the basic compound lifts, training with enough intensity, using proper form, getting sufficient quality calories and protein, and getting a proper rest in between training sessions. So don't get this idea that you need to have a million different things perfectly in place in order to make great gains, because that's likely just going to overwhelm you. After you've settled in and built a decent foundation, then you can fine-tune things further, but in the beginning stages, just get the basics down and keep it simple. Tip number 8, don't try to get shredded. Okay, now I don't recommend that anyone try to get shredded and stay that way year-round because it's not healthy and it's not sustainable anyway. But this is especially true for teen bodybuilders, because if you're still going through puberty, then your body is still growing and it needs the proper calories and the proper nutrients to do that. So maintaining a prolonged calorie deficit and trying to get a ripped looking body is not going to be a smart idea. There's no evidence that weight training itself stunts growth, but depriving your body of proper nutrition for an extended period of time, that potentially could. So forget about all these super lean physiques you see on social media. No one looks like that year round unless they're on drugs or they have extremely good genetics anyway, and no one actually looks like that in person. And that's just not something you should be striving for, because it's unrealistic and it's potentially dangerous at your age as well. The only time I'd recommend a focused cutting phase for a teenager would be if you're starting out overweight and you're at an unhealthy body fat percentage to begin with. In that case, it's fine. I'm not saying that you can't be fairly lean and have visible abs, but I wouldn't suggest intentionally trying to lower your body fat any lower than about 12%. And I'd recommend putting your focus on building a good foundation of muscle mass and strength rather than trying to be super lean. Teen bodybuilding tip number 9, don't believe everything you read or everything you hear. As a younger beginner, it can be pretty easy to just automatically look up to the buff guy at the gym, or believe everything you see on YouTube or in articles just because they were written by an expert. But the reality is that the bodybuilding and fitness industry is absolutely full of misinformation. And just because someone has an impressive physique doesn't necessarily mean that the advice they're giving you is accurate or that they have your best interests at heart. Because a lot of people will put out certain pieces of information or tell you certain things just because they want to sell you something. So don't believe everything you hear. Get your information from a variety of sources. Think critically and look for solid reasoning behind what people are telling you rather than just taking it at face value. And that's going to serve you well, not just in bodybuilding, but in any area of life. And lastly, teen bodybuilding tip number 10, don't let the gym become your entire life. Okay, I'm not saying that the gym can't be your passion or your focus. If it's something you really enjoy and you're serious about, that's all fine and good. But the reality is that proper training and proper nutrition is a fairly straightforward thing, and it doesn't require you to spend hours and hours in the gym or revolve your whole life around your diet. 3 to 4 workouts per week for 60 to 90 minutes each is all you're gonna need. And once you get the hang of how to eat for your goals, it should pretty much become an automatic thing that you don't have to think too much about. So sacrificing your social life or letting bodybuilding get in the way of your studies or other hobbies just isn't necessary, and it's not going to be healthy for you in the long run. Being focused and being dedicated is one thing, but I would highly recommend that you not be the guy who says no to hanging out with your friends or going to social gatherings because you're not sure how you'll get a proper meal in, or shutting out everything else in your life because all you care about is building muscle. I've been there before. I did that to a certain degree when I was young during certain periods. And the truth is that it's just not necessary, and it won't make you happy anyway if it turns into an unhealthy obsession. So try to strike a good balance for yourself. And also keep in mind that building muscle is all about what you do in the big picture anyway, over the course of several weeks and several months and even years. So going out with your friends, one night and having your nutrition not be 100%, or going to a party, or even missing a workout here and there, it's not going to have any real impact as long as you're doing things right around 80 to 90% of the time. So that covers the 10 tips. A bit of a longer video here, but I hope it was helpful. Make sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe if you did enjoy it. My official website is over at seannell.com, where you can check out all of my step-by-step programs, articles, free giveaways, and more. And you can follow me on social media here if you aren't already. The links for that are in the description box. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you again soon.